Hello friends, welcome to the Block Thrasher Daily Morning Crypto Update, where we are shattering the complexities of crypto with news, commentary, analysis, and education. Today is March 17th. My name is Justin Cummins, and today I have a special show for you guys. We're going to do the normal daily update where we look at market prices. We're going to cover a word of the day, but then we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive into staking and what that involves, and talk about what proof of stake means and what are the options. There's been a bunch of questions that have been asked in the Facebook group, very active group, very vibrant group. I encourage you to join if you're on Facebook. It's facebook.com/groups/blockthrasher, or you can just search for Block Thrasher to find it. But the questions that have arisen are, what are the benefits and what are the negatives and what are the options and how can I stake and that sort of thing. And so we're going to cover the top staking platforms, tokens, coins, etc., and talk about what is available for you. So jumping right in, word of the day is makushla. Makushla. It is a word that means darling. So if you want to call a loved one a darling, try out makushla. M-A-C-U-S-H-L-A. All right, let's jump into the market. Currently, the global crypto market cap is $1.71 trillion. It's up 0.32% over the last day. So we have seen that there is new money coming into the market, and that is fantastic. Now, it's a bit of a mixed bag once again this morning, as we have been seeing of late. It's sort of like a candy cane, red and green, a little bit of red, a little bit of green. There are some tokens and some coins that are just pumping currently. Right now, Bitcoin is $55,117.71. It is up 0.39% in the last 24 hours. Ethereum is down just slightly, though, almost negligible amount at $1,770.06. Cardano absolutely crushing it in the last 24 hours, up 21.16%, up 6.46% for the week. It is at $1.25. And this is because Coinbase Pro has announced that they will be listing, I think it's going live on the 18th, actually, if I recall. But you will now be able to buy, sell, deposit, trade, etc. Cardano on Coinbase Pro. And so I'm assuming, obviously we never know what drives these markets, but we are assuming that that is the impetus for this over 20% increase in the last 24 hours. Binance coin is down 0.42% at $251.64. Polkadot is up 4% at $35.08. XRP down 1.37% at 46 cents. And I'll just quickly mention, because I'm not going to pull it up and go over the story, but XRP holders have tried and petitioned the courts to be represented in the legal case against the SEC, with the SEC against XRP. And so they wanted to get some legal representation and say, look, we've been hurt more than anyone really in this whole thing, and we were not properly advised, etc. However, the judge has shut that down for the time being, but is willing to accept a letter from the lawyer that is bringing this case on behalf of the XRP token holders, and then send that to the SEC for a response. So we'll see what happens with that. Uniswap is up 3.86%. It is now $29.84. Litecoin is down 105. It is $197.02. And we have an interesting story about Litecoin today, which might also have some implications for Dogecoin. So we'll talk about that. Chainlink is killing it at the moment, up 8.31%. It is $29.64. Let's just quickly scroll down and see what some of the other outliers are for the last 24 hours. Crypto.com coin is up 6%. Filecoin, the peer-to-peer IPFS system, has just taken off. It is $33.85. If you haven't looked into Filecoin before, it is essentially something similar to Amazon Web Services, or even it could be compared to Google Drive and some of these others, where you can sell or provide storage space for file storage, and also you can purchase file storage access using Filecoin. So just a storage cloud type of storage solution, but decentralized. So avoiding the centralization of Google and Dropbox and the others, etc. Right? Something interesting to look into. All right, what else? Monero is up 7.83% to $236. Avalanche is up 8.74%. We will be talking about Avalanche because it is one of the staking options. All right, moving on to stories of the day. Retail investors continue to buy Ethereum while the number of whales dropped to a 3-year low, according to CryptoPotato.com. Retail interest for Ethereum has been growing gradually in the past several weeks, at least judging by the new record levels of smaller addresses holding ETH positions. Additionally, the total value locked in the ETH 2.0 deposit contract has also reached a fresh all-time high of over 6.2 billion worth of the token. So 6.2 billion ETH locked up out of a total market cap of 204 billion. Not very much. And I think I know the reason why. We're going to talk about it when we talk about staking options here in just a bit. The takeaway story here from this article and this bit of research done by Crypto Potato is that whales are getting out of Ethereum. The number of addresses that hold over 1,000 Ethereum has dropped to a 3-year low, whereas the number of addresses that are holding small amounts of Ethereum has skyrocketed. This would indicate that retail investors have been piling into Ethereum, while whales, longer standing, longer holding, older addresses with balances that are older, continue to drop. So not necessarily a good sign for Ethereum. And let me just say, I am trying, I make every effort to be as objective as I possibly can about Ethereum. There are things about Ethereum that I love. Obviously, Ethereum was revolutionary. It has early mover advantage. It was the OG, if you will, of the smart contract DeFi platform, dApps. So many incredible things. So many great projects developed on top of Ethereum. So many developers engaged. Huge community. All of these things. There's a lot of really great things about Ethereum. But when I think about it like this. It's sort of like this older guy, right? Let's say in his 40s, who's trying to compete athletically in a foot race, 100-meter dash or something, against guys that are in their 20s. Not only that, he's got a couple of things that have just gone wrong, physical ailments and problems. His knees suffered a knee injury and hasn't quite healed completely, or maybe he's got a torn Achilles tendon as well. And he's still incredible. He has an advantage because he got to start the race earlier. So the young guys are trying to catch up and see if they can catch him or even surpass him. But he's been running for a long time ahead of them. He got to start days and days earlier. However, he's kind of limping along. And it's incredibly difficult to heal when you're in the process of running, right? And so this is sort of how it is with Ethereum. It's very difficult to make the changes that need to be made. It's going to be very difficult to implement Ethereum 2.0. And we're going to see some of that in some of the stuff we covered today when we're talking about staking and the staking options. And so we will see what happens. But we continue to see market share erode away from Ethereum. And we have a story about that, I believe, today. It seems like every day there is something to indicate this. Yes, it's actually our next story that we'll cover just quickly, which is AAVE. AAVE is one of Ethereum's leading DeFi protocols, and it has announced a major upgrade. In this upgrade, AAVE is going to go multi-market. The AAVE CEO stated, in DeFi, there are no AAVE users, and there are no AMM users. There are only DeFi users. Interestingly, so what AAVE, in that statement, what he's just trying to say is, we're trying to be interoperable. We're trying to be cross-platform, multi-market. So what they're doing is they are now allowing Uniswap and Balancer liquidity providers to deposit liquidity provider tokens as collateral in what it's calling an AMM liquidity pool. So in doing this, users will now be able to borrow DAI, USDC, Ethereum, wrapped Bitcoin, and USDT. Similarly, other users can borrow liquidity provider tokens by depositing DAI, USDC, ETH, or WBTC. Now, this is interesting and this is good, and this is something I've been talking about repeatedly of late, is the direction I think we're going to go in the cryptocurrency space is interoperability, cross-chain. Lots of projects are going to become blockchain agnostic or project agnostic or platform agnostic, however you want to label it, and work with multiple platforms, multiple chains. So they hinted here, and this is where it gets interesting, is that AAVE noted on Twitter that the AMM liquidity pool would initially launch in Ethereum, quote, with the potential to be included on other networks as well, opening up new frontiers for the community. Hint, hint, hint. We're talking Cardano, we're talking Polkadot, we're talking Avalanche, we're talking some of the other platforms, smart contract platforms, where they can provide those DeFi type of services. All right, moving on to the next story. This is actually quite interesting. Not so much because of the impact that this will have on Litecoin, but because of the impact that this might have on Dogecoin. Now, it is good news, I think, for Litecoin. Litecoin is getting closer to adding MimbleWimble's privacy features. So if you're not aware, MimbleWimble is an algorithm, a consensus, a protocol that provides privacy. The first MimbleWimble platform came out a couple of years ago, and now Litecoin is looking to implement a version of the, quote, Harry Potter themed privacy technology, MimbleWimble. But where this gets interesting is in this sense. What a lot of people don't know is that Dogecoin is a proof of work coin that has to be mined, right, by miners using the script algorithm. The same as Litecoin. Litecoin is also a proof of work. Now, no one would mine Doge, generally speaking, because it's not profitable. So what happened, the reason Doge continues to be mined is because it can be mined with Litecoin. So it's called dual mining. So you can mine Litecoin and Dogecoin at the same time with your ASIC script algorithm miner. And this is what has kept Doge functioning. Without Litecoin driving the miners, providing that mining hash power that also gets attributed to Dogecoin, it's possible that the Dogecoin protocol proof of work system could just sort of come to a halt, but more than that, be highly susceptible to a 51% attack, as it would not require much hashing power to overtake the network. So the big question here is, when this new protocol upgrade gets implemented on Litecoin, will the miners, and from what I've read, it looks like it's going to sort of be a sidechain protocol. So it could be that it will just for a season or a time operate alongside the regular Litecoin chain. But if it eventually replaces it in its entirety and all of the miners for Litecoin switch over to the MimbleWimble algorithm, then this could have some serious impact and ramifications on Dogecoin. And just really quickly before I move on from this story, it is interesting. One analyst has hypothesized that the reason we see the spikes in Dogecoin and then the sell-offs has to do with miners. And if you look at the Dogecoin chart, it's almost like a heartbeat. It happens at regular intervals. So this recent Dogecoin increase has been attributed to celebrity mentions by Elon Musk and others, and meme activity on TikTok and others. However, if you look at the chart, this happens regularly. Now, this time it may be that it went a little bit higher than before in terms of price, but this happens with Dogecoin. And the the theory is that this happens because these miners that are mining Litecoin, they just store up, they just hold the Dogecoin until they have a massive amount there, and then through social media, pump the thing and dump the thing. And so it's something interesting to look at and to consider. All right. Moving on to our conversation about staking. If you want to learn more about staking crypto, probably one of the best resources to go to is a website which is stakingrewards.com. It's kind of like the coin market cap of staking. And it has calculators, so you can go and you can find out how much you're going to earn with whatever crypto asset you have. You can put the numbers in. I have 1,000 Cardano. This is what it's going to generate for me, and it will spit out that number. So really useful. Now, they have a chart. For those who are on video, you can see this. I'll describe it for the audio people. It lists a table similar to the coin market cap rankings of the cryptocurrencies that can be staked by market cap. And so what we're going to do is we are going to look at the top 5 because they are the best options for staking, and they're the coins that people are most likely to have. So number 1 is Cardano, which is currently $1.25, as we mentioned earlier. Number 2 is Polkadot, $35, Avalanche, $31, Ethereum, $1,770, and Algorand, which is $1.19. All right, well, let's start with the most popular, the big boy, the big kahuna first, Ethereum. So you've got some Ethereum and you decided want to stake. You want to stake. Well, what do you need to do, and what are your options, and what are the things that need to be considered? Here at ethereum.org, they have a section. You can go and check it out called How to Stake. They say it all depends on how much you are willing to stake. So here's the deal with staking. If you want to stake yourself, that means have full custody. We'll get into that a little bit more. Actually, that's not necessarily true. But if you want to be a validator and run a node, basically a validator node, you're going to need 32 Ethereum to become a full validator. So that's over $50,000. That's $50,000 plus worth of Ethereum that you're going to have. So clearly that is out of the reach of many, many people. That's the first thing to consider. You're not going to be able to be a validator and stake on your own unless you have 32 or more Ethereum. Here's something else. Withdrawals won't be live right away. You won't be able to withdraw your stake until future upgrades are deployed. Withdrawals should be available once mainnet has docked with the Beacon chain system. This is crucial, and I think the reason why we might only see 6.5 billion or whatever the number was that we saw staked versus something like Cardano, where over 72% of the coins are staked. Did they have a list? Yes, total staked. This is also something else that's useful on the stakingrewards.com site. They show you, they have a table column that shows you how much of a particular crypto is staked currently. Cardano, 73.7% of Cardano is staked, and that's why it's actually listed as number 1. They've ranked these according to the percentages that is staked. So 73%, and there's a reason for that. We'll get into it. Polkadot, 64%. Avalanche, 78%. Ethereum, 3%. Only 3% of Ethereum is currently staked. Algorand, 57%. Okay. Moving on to the Ethereum staking discussion. So, if you don't have 32 Ethereum, you have less than 32, your options then are to use a staking service. And there is a site where all of these services are listed. So you can look at them, find your options, do your research on which one might be best for you. The site is Beacon Chain, except for it's got the dot right before the IN. So it's Beacon, BEACON, CH.IN. That's the domain name that you can punch into your browser and pull this thing up. So here's the thing about these staking services. You're going to have to consider a couple of major things. Number one is there are fees. So if you look at the first one that is mentioned, it's all nodes. And the minimum stake there is 32 ETH, and they charge you $5 a month. So the idea here basically is setting up your own validator node is not easy. In fact, I have a friend who wanted to do this and just gave up and quit. And that's because you have to have a constant internet connection. You have to have everything set up right. And then if you go offline or if you have errors that occur, you actually lose Ethereum. Your Ethereum, it's called slashing, I believe, can be the amount will decrease rather than increase when you're staking. And this is intended to ensure that every validator is acting as a good actor on the network. So $5 a month, 32 ETH regard. Okay, other options. Anchor staking. This is a pool token type of service. So this is a service. They take 15% of your rewards, but the minimum stake is only 0.5 ETH. So that's something that's a lot more achievable for many people, of course. Now, here's the other major thing that you have to consider when thinking about staking Ethereum in one of these pools, and that is the issue of custody. There are custody and non-custody options available. With the non-custody options, you retain ownership of your Ethereum, and that's crucial. With the custody options, we've talked about this many times before, you don't retain ownership. Essentially, you're handing over your Ethereum, they are holding that, etc. And so if something happens with that trusted third party, if they disappear for some reason or whatever, you could be up the creek and out of the water. So a couple examples of self-custodial or non-custodial staking providers would be Rocket Pool. Rocket Pool is perhaps the most well-known decentralized staking infrastructure service on Ethereum. The platform allows anyone to pull together Ether to earn rewards with other holders, as well as setting up your own validator for other users to pull into. It's important to note that all ETH deposits resemble a fixed term deposit where users send ETH to the Rocket Pool network and the underlying smart contracts manage the deposit and interactions with the beacon chain. So, benefits. The minimum deposit is 1 ETH. Relatively low, but you still got to have 1 ETH, so over $1,700 of ETH, right? Maximum deposit is up to 1,000 ETH. The cost is free, but here's the catch here with this. The deposit terms are 3 months, 6 months, and 12 plus months. And that is something else to consider with Ethereum, is that in almost every instance here, when you're staking Ethereum, you are going to have to lock up the tokens for a given time, maybe even up to 2 years. Here's the Binance, which is a centralized option, obviously, not non-custodial. This is a custodial option. Here is their page for Binance Staking of ETH 2.0. About ETH 2.0. ETH 2.0 is a set of upgrades distributed into 3 phases. The goal is to make Ethereum more scalable. Blah, 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 blah. Skipping that, here are the details about the staking. With Binance, you have seamless one-click ETH 2.0 staking with minimal requirements and maximum returns. Your stake cannot be redeemed during the first phase. Get this, it may take more than 2 years. Your stake cannot be, read that carefully, your stake cannot be redeemed during the first phase, which may take more than 2 years. Binance tokenizes BETH, Binance ETH, as the only proof of your staked ETH in a 1-to-1 ratio. They say they regularly distribute on-chain rewards to all participants based on their BETH position. The on-chain rewards will be distributed in the form of BETH to users' spot accounts, etc., etc. All right, so that's the situation with Ethereum. You can go get more details at ethereum.org if that sounds like something you would like to do. All right, let's move on to the second option, which is Cardano, which is currently the 3rd largest cryptocurrency by market cap. Now, I as you know, if you've been following this channel, think Cardano is just revolutionary and going to kill the market. And the reasons are vast, but this is one of them. The Cardano staking, now to be objective, as I always attempt to be, it's not the easiest. There's actually one that's easier that we're going to talk about, but it's pretty dang close. I mean, this is so simple, anyone can do it. So with Cardano, you delegate your stake to build a network, earn rewards, and become part of the Cardano journey. ADA held on the Cardano network represents a stake in the network, with the size of the stake proportional to the amount of ADA hold. The ability to delegate or pledge a stake is fundamental to how Cardano works. There are two ways an ADA holder can earn rewards: by delegating their stake to a stake pool run by someone else, or running their own stake pool. The amount of stake delegated to a given stake pool is the primary way that Ouroboros protocol chooses who should add the next block to the blockchain and receive a monetary reward for doing so. The more stake is delegated to a stake pool up to a certain point, the more likely it is to make the next block, and the rewards are shared between everyone who delegated their stake to the stake pool. So with Cardano, you have the option to create a validator node if you like, to create a staking pool. However, there's no need to do that. You don't have to do that. You have that option if you want to help strengthen the network and earn some additional Cardano rewards in the process. However, in order to stake on Cardano, all you need is 5 Cardano. So we're talking $5, $6, $7, whatever it is now, $1.25 a token. It's incredibly easy within both the Daedalus and Yoroi wallet. You can also do it in Atomic wallet and some others. All you have to do is have a balance of ADA tokens. Click on the delegating tab. Choose which wallet you want to delegate from. Hit the delegate button. Choose a delegator. Boom, boom. Super simple. Done. You start earning rewards. Here's another factor that is phenomenal with Cardano. There's no lockup period. There's no locking of your tokens at all. They remain completely liquid. So you can add to the wallet that's being staked and start earning rewards on the amount that's been added. Your rewards automatically get put back into the wallet, so for the compounding interest effect. And then you can remove tokens anytime you want. There's nothing to be done. There's no unstaking. There's no bonding. There's no waiting. Nothing like that. It's incredible. Clearly one of the easiest solutions for self-custody staking of cryptocurrency. And it earns around 6% annually currently. Nominator. Polkadot. Moving on to Polkadot. Now, with the Polkadot system, you can be a validator. However, being a validator requires running a node 24/7, and there is a minimum requirement of Polkadot necessary in order to be a validator. So in order to be a nominator, you will have to choose a validator. You must pick your validators carefully because, similar with Ethereum, if the validator does not behave properly, they will get slashed and you will lose your token, DOT, as well. However, if they do follow the rules of the network, then you can share in staking rewards that they generate. While your DOT are staked by nominating a validator, they are locked, or to use Polkadot's term, bonded. You can receive new DOT in your account, but you cannot stake as validator or transfer DOT away from your account. You can unnominate at any time to stop staking your funds, but keep in mind that the unnomination is effective in the next era, and that unnominating does not automatically unbond your funds. There's an unbonding period of 7 days on Kusama, 28 days on Polkadot, before bonded funds can be transferred after issuing an on-bond transaction. So essentially with Polkadot, what we're talking about here is that you have to lock your tokens up, and you then have to, when you decide you want to withdraw, wait for 28 days or even more in order to get liquidity back to access those tokens. So in my experience, staking Polkadot yourself is also a difficult process. There's a lot of things to understand and figure out. It's probably easier for most to simply use a service like Binance or Kraken, who provide services for this. But then you're looking at a custodial situation. It's not a non-custodial option where you retain those tokens in your own wallet. However, the return on Polkadot is nice currently. It is 13% versus 6.97% for Cardano. Ethereum is, just for comparison's sake, 7.93%. And you can see all of those listed, what the reward is at stakingrewards.com in that table that I was speaking of earlier. All right, so moving on. Number one was Polkadot. Number one was Cardano. Number two is Polkadot. Number three is Avalanche, another super solid project. But how does staking in Avalanche work? Staking parameters on Avalanche. When a validator is done validating the primary network, it receives back the AVAX token it staked. It may receive a reward for helping to secure the network. A validator only receives a validation reward if it is sufficiently responsive and correct during the time it validates. Read the Avalanche token white paper to learn more about AVAX and the mechanics of staking. Staking rewards are sent to your wallet address at the end of the staking term, as long as all of these parameters are met. Now here's the thing. The minimum amount that a validator must stake is 2,000 AVAX tokens. So AVAX is currently close to what? $30. Let's just scroll down on CoinMarketCap and double check that. Oh, sorry. AVAX is a little bit lower in market cap, isn't it? 2,000 times 3123 is what it is currently. 3123. Whoops. Just punching that into my calculator real quickly. 2,000 times 3123 equals $62,000. So similar to Ethereum, you're going to need over $60,000 if you want to run a validator node. However, the minimum amount that a delegator must delegate is only 25. So that's only $775, a little over $775 if you want to be a delegator. So that's achievable for a lot of people. The minimum amount of time one can stake funds for validation is 2 weeks. The maximum amount of time one can stake funds for validation is a year. The minimum amount of time one can stake funds for delegation is 2 weeks. So if you are going to stake and you're going to do it as a delegator with the 25 AVAX tokens, coins, you've got to do it for a minimum of 2 weeks. So you have to lock it up for at least 2 weeks. The maximum amount of time one can stake funds for delegation is 1 year. And so you have to lock it up for 2 weeks. You can lock it up for up to a year, and then you have to do it again, I assume. The minimum delegation fee rate is 2%, so there also is a fee for that delegation, right? The maximum weight of validator, their own stake, plus stake delegated to them is the minimum of 3E6 AVAX and 5 times the amount the validator staked. So they just go on with a little bit more details here. The minimum percentage of the time a validator must be correct and online in order to receive a reward is 60%. So that's the situation with Avalanche. All right, moving on. We looked at Cardano, we looked at Polkadot, we looked at Avalanche, we looked at Ethereum. When it comes to staking, I've saved the best for last in terms of easiest for the typical user. Algorand, the Algo token. Algorand, 6% reward. Algorand is incredibly easy to stake. In fact, you don't have to do anything other than have the Algorand wallet on your phone. It's available for Apple. It's available for Android. Send some Algorand tokens to the wallet. Boom. Automatically staking. It's as simple as that. I mean, there literally is nothing else to it. There's no minimum requirement. There is, I think it's a very small minimum requirement. Maybe 10 Algorand or something like that. I'd have to double check on that. I don't recall. But it's very, very, very low. Anyone can do this. Anyone can start staking Algorand. And you know, the thing about Algorand too is that it has proven to be an incredibly stable coin of late. We haven't seen any huge pumps as of yet, but it's hovered around $1 to $1.25. It's gone down to 94 cents maybe in the ups and downs of this current market. But in turn, it's almost, I mean, it's about as close to staking a stable coin as, well, Cardano is actually similar. Now I think about it. Both of those super solid projects, Algorand being founded by one of the foremost cryptologists in the world. I've done coin highlights on Algorand before. A lot of really good things about Algorand. Great things about Algorand. It's currently total stake of the supply is 57%. All right. Now, those cover the staking options of some of the really prominent coins in terms of self-custody, staking within your own wallet, and how that works and how you can go about doing that. Now, I think sometimes there's some confusion because in addition to the staking options, which are actual proof of stake platforms, right? So all of these that we've talked about, Ethereum's moving to proof of stake, Cardano's proof of stake, Algorand is proof of stake, Avalanche is proof of stake. None of these are proof of work because proof of work requires mining and you have to hardware. So the beauty of the proof of stake system is that it allows anyone and everyone in most cases, because the barrier to entry is very low, to stake and to help secure the network. And then in those cases with the platforms where it's easy to run a validator node, it's providing the same thing and anyone can do it. You can go out and, yes, there's some hardware required to do it, but you can rent a server or use AWS or whatever to launch one of these things and get going. And so that actually allows for the network, the proof of stake network, especially the bigger ones, to be more decentralized than even Bitcoin is. One of the arguments that Bitcoin maximalists will often talk about is, well, it's the most secure because it's the most decentralized, because it's got the greatest hashing power. But that's not necessarily true, because if that hashing power is concentrated to a couple of pools or number of pools or number of companies that own the most hardware, then it's not truly decentralized, right? Whereas with the validator nodes and a proof of stake system, anybody can do it. And so somebody could try to corner the market, if you will, and set up more staking nodes than anyone else, but they're not really going to be able to do that because so many other people can join in and help secure that network. So anyway, moving away from that, just talking about proof of stake for a little bit versus the proof of work platforms, you can earn interest. And I think some people sometimes are talking about this in terms of staking, but there's a difference here. The staking is part of the protocol of the network on tokens like Cardano and Avalanche and Algorand, Polkadot, etc. Whereas there are centralized options, centralized solutions where you can earn interest on all of your cryptocurrencies, or not all of it, but the crypto that is provided by those platforms, even proof of work type of platforms. So a good example of this is BlockFi.com. And BlockFi, let's see, they have somewhere here their numbers listed. Deposit Bitcoin, earn 6% APY. Deposit GUSD, earn 8.6% APY. Deposit ETH, earn 5.25% APY. Deposit USDC, earn 8%. So somewhere in the 5 to 10% range is typically where most of these platforms are. Now keep in mind, when you're putting your cryptocurrency in these platforms, you are giving up custody. You are sending your crypto to this company, the centralized company, which is BlockFi, which is a pretty reputable company. So for a lot of people, they're going to be comfortable enough with doing that. Another example of something similar to BlockFi would be Celsius Network, which is becoming more and more popular and well known. You can earn up to 13% on USD coin. You can earn 6.35% on Ethereum or 6.20% APY on Bitcoin. So you have a lot of options. Another example would be Abra. Abra does the same. They have interest rates close to 10% on stablecoins and interest rates close to 8% for the cryptos. Another option similar would be Compound. Compound providing interest-bearing accounts for many cryptos: Ether, Uniswap, USD Coin, Tether, Wrapped BTC, OX, Basic Attention Token. And they vary in degree of interest returns. Just another option. So that's another option for people who want something to be simplified. These platforms can often be very simple because it's as simple as signing up for an account at BlockFi, getting the address that you need to send your crypto to, sending it to that address. Everything's pretty much automated. Boom, done. You're earning interest. And like I said, the only downside is that third-party risk in which you are trusting that they are going to keep your funds safe and be there when you want to withdraw them. Of course, there are fees involved with all of these. There are businesses that are in the business to make money, and there also might be issues. Many people have talked about issues that occur with difficulty in withdrawing or the time period that you have to wait to withdraw. And some of these do require that you put your crypto in for a certain amount of time. And then with others, it can take a week or 2 weeks when you want to cash out for that to occur. So these are all just things to keep in mind. Okay, friends, thank you so much for your time. I hope that you found this to be helpful. Please be sure to visit blockthrasher.com, sign up for an account so you can stay informed with all the new content that I will be releasing there. If you're listening to the podcast, would really appreciate that you subscribe, even we need reviews on Apple, especially, which is the #1 platform. Over 58% of our listeners are on the Apple podcast platform. Obviously, it's been incredible to see now that we have listeners from all around the globe and on Apple, Spotify, Anchor. There's a bunch of others as well. Podcast has been growing quickly. Great to see that. Appreciate all of you. Appreciate your support. Please keep coming back every day as I make every effort to keep you as informed as I possibly can about what is happening in the cryptocurrency space, highlighting coins that are great to consider so that you can make the best possible investment decisions. Remember, it's always a great day to earn more crypto. Hope you have a phenomenal day. Talk to you soon. Love y'all. Bye.